All right, for this station, what we're going to do is look at particulate matter. And so we have the air quality monitors. What we're going to look at to compare different sites is the 2.5, because that's what we're looking at online later in part of the lab. And so let's think about what areas around might give us particulate matter. We know what that is already, and so what could it be? Maybe there's a construction site or something kicking up. Something around, maybe even close to a field or something, kicking up soil into the air. And so maybe we're having airborne soil particles. Maybe we're around a construction site or something. I think I just said that already. Maybe one of the things is we have a lot of trees or something like that. Pollen can be in the 2.5 also. And so maybe we're getting pollen in there. Maybe we're around a road where there's a lot of soot and stuff coming off of those. I don't know what's around. So think about what is around, and let's think of the places we need to go and fill out our sheet. So make sure we put, when we're putting out where we actually are, make sure we put where we are so that someone else knows exactly where that spot is. We'll turn this on, we'll go there, and then wave it around in an area and wait for it to stop changing. And so we're looking at the 2.5 down here. Think strategically about where those areas are that you're going to pick to fill out your sheet. And go. First of all, these meters, we just looked them up as we're recording right now. It's $115, and I just did a search online when we bought these for, I think I put air quality monitors. So we didn't buy the super expensive one. We got the cheapest ones we could. Really, you only need one of these if you're doing it in groups rotating through, like we've designed this lab. You really only have to have one. We did this with an entire classes, and we had two. We did have two of them, which was nice for us. That way some of the different kids got to hold some, but could we have done it with one? Yeah, we could have. And so you don't need a ton of them. If you, like I said, about 115 is what these exact ones were when we looked them up today. But if you don't have that, don't have access to that, you can have them go on either like the Purple Air site. I think it's purpleair.com. You can go to the EPA site. Both of those links are in the lab and on the lab page. You can go to those sites and have students pull up that data. If there's a monitor around, somewhat close around, then they can pull the data up. It might not be like at your school unless you have one of these sensors at your school, but it can be close and you can get an idea. And so that works perfectly fine. If you're wanting to do larger particulate matter, I know it's like the globe.gov website has a lab that we've done a lot of times where students use clear contact paper and they decide where to set those out and they put them on clipboards. Make sure if you do the clipboard one, you put on there the air quality monitoring do not touch, so someone doesn't accidentally pick up your clipboard. Even though we've had people still accidentally pick up clipboards and bring them to us. They just didn't read it. They're like, oh, you guys left this outside. And so you might give like janitors, custodians, stuff a bit of a heads up before you do that. That way they know that they'll be out there and not to mess with those. That's a really great site. Students pick quadrants, and so we talk about sampling, random sampling in that lesson. So that's a really good lesson to do. And of course I've seen people use where they use like the Vaseline, rub it on the thing to be able to do those, and I'm sure we can find those lessons online. I've not done those myself, so I don't know how well they work, but I have done the contact paper. That works great. But again, that's larger particulate matter. It's going to be larger than the 2.5. We were glad that we were able to get the funding to get a couple of these. Like I said, 115 is what they were. I think it's really it gives the students something in their hand that they can see a difference. I know there's not a lot of chalkboards, as many chalkboards in schools there used to be, but it's like the chalk, you could smack erasers together and you can really see that number go up quite a bit. But you could also, should be able to also, I know in the elementary we weren't allowed to do candles, but usually in a lot of schools still, you could light a candle or a match or something like that, and you'll be able to see those particles. You can actually see the count on those. So that's this station. Good luck.